Facilities that make this program possible are provided by the City of Highland Park. Programs are produced independently by members of the community. The City of Highland Park is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of the City of Highland Park.
Welcome to Chill Out. I'm Pam Chill, I'm the host of the program, and today's program is about the topic of the Education Empowerment Plan. I'm very fortunate today to have on my program Gary Goldman. Welcome, Gary. Thank you for appearing on the program.
Thank you, Pam. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I've heard so many good things about you, so I'm excited to talk about the whole topic of education and the new program that you've instigated.
Thank you.
Installed. I'm going to do a little brief bio on you, Gary. So Gary Goldman, he holds a Master's of Arts in Organization Development and is nationally recognized leader in education reform and youth empowerment. You are president and founder of Kids America, whose mission is empowering students and adults as leaders, change agents, and lifelong learners who work collaboratively for building healthy and safe communities. You have co-developed with the National Alliance of Youth Development the most comprehensive national youth-centered community model ever developed, utilizing the power of media, technology, and youth community development. Well, that's quite an interesting bio on that, especially utilizing media now, whereas, our young people are so interested in media.
Exactly.
So that's entirely changed the whole viewpoint of education.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we want to get kids excited, and that's part of the process.
Mm-hmm. So now you are a pioneer in the field. Now, as a leader, as empowering all youth to have a voice and make a difference in the world. Now, why have you taken on the challenge, and why is this so important to you now?
Well, as you know, I've written a book.
Yes, I just wanted to show the book. This is Empowering Students to Transform Schools, written by Gary Goldman and Jane Newman.
This book is a labor of love. Worked with the schools in Chicago and schools around the country. And actually in England, I did some work with adults in England too. But the reason I wrote the book, co-wrote the book, is because we need to involve our young people in having a voice. Most times they're silent and they're not being heard. Not only to give them a voice, but have them involved in helping make a difference in their schools and communities. I call it change agents. So the more we involve our young people who actually know what's going on in their schools and classrooms and communities, we'll have a better chance of creating more safe and viable communities for people. It sounds radical, but it shouldn't be. You used to be a young person yourself, right?
Well,
younger.
I'd like to think that I still
Younger.
am, but I'll tell you, the education that I had, it really did not have, it wasn't a joint effort. It was, all books. There was before, obviously, computers. It was before Google, where you can find the answer to anything. And it was a lot of homework and a lot of, just writing and memorization.
Right. Well, we need to have our young people who are excited about making a difference make a difference. Let me read if I may, in the beginning.
Oh, please do.
By Joan Goodall. Hold on here. Jane Goodall. She, with National Geographic, she worked with gorillas and animals.
Oh, yes, I was quite a fan of.
But here's what she says about this: is each of us must do our part, no matter where we live, in city or countryside. Children are quick to see the value of individual action. All around the world, when I talk to them, I find them aware and convinced they can make a difference and eager to help. Therein lies our hope. More and more people are opening their hearts to the desperation they see around them and springing into action. For this is how we attain our human potential for compassion and for love. That says it all. That our young people are eager to spring into action to help us. So we have more compassion and love in our schools, our communities. So it's not just about tests. It's about building community. The joy of learning, the love of learning is very critical, especially as we finish school.
Absolutely. The joy, the love of learning, the collaborative effort, and less punishment. I think in my time, I grew up in the Chicago Public Schools, and I remember just, if somebody did something very bad in the class, you would spend maybe an hour just writing, I will not, throw spitballs.
Right.
And, that's a whole different way of education now that they don't do that. Now, your book demonstrates the power of student involvement in both the schools and the communities, which you just, read an endorsement. Can you share some few inspiring stories?
Of course. Yes. I know you have a photo.
We do have a photo, so if you can provide, this is a photo of early learning, too.
Early learning.
Yes.
Well, this is an interesting
yes.
short story. I work with all levels, but basically right now more the middle school and high school. But I was at a preschool in Englewood, where there's a lot of shootings. And this little boy was there, and he was so sweet, I had to pick him up, and he had a Superman outfit on. And I was also with some of the first graders in kindergarten. I said, "Can I have a hug?" And they all hugged me. But this just shows that no matter what age, we can work with all ages, okay? Because love is present in every young person, every person. So in terms of stories where they're more older young people, older students, like teenagers, there's a few. I remember I was working in Englewood and Robeson High School, which is, again, a lot of crime and et cetera. And the teacher gave me the 50 at-risk students that were their biggest problems. I never said that, but she said, these are my at-risk students. So I worked with them for 4 hours. I had the principal of Chicago Vocational High School at the time come and help me. And after 4 hours, but during the 4 hours, there was one student that would not participate. He had his head down, and every now and then I tap him on the shoulder and keep walking, and he said, "Who's this white dude? He's not throwing me out," which is what he wanted. But I actually was playing a little game with him, a dance, because I knew that that there's something in this young person.
Do you think they're having a difficult time relating to you?
No, generally I don't have the most. Believe it or not, most of the African American Hispanic students really get along very well because I see their heart, and they know I care, and they know it right away. And I'm not a typical adult talking at them; I'm talking with them.
That's the key.
Yeah.
To talk with them and to include them. Right.
So this young man, he wouldn't participate. At the end of that 4 hours, I'm going to read what he wrote because I didn't throw him out. We created our own relationship and our own little dance. Here's what he wrote. This was the student clown that no one would really listen to. I'll make an excerpt. He called it a Declaration of Independence. Okay, when in the course of high school events, lots of changes go forth in our lives. We must follow our dreams, look for the unique goals in our lives to explore the souls of our students. To give them a bright future, we want a peace of mind, a type of unity in our family. Learn to understand one another, our achievements, our knowledge, our spirit. Let us all make a sacrifice and hope that we can trust and believe in one another. Each and every person is likable and unique, and throughout our lives we have joyous times and times of pain. Let knowledge be power, and let the students of our school say, quote, "A powerful source of leadership will rise among us," unquote, and the spirit of Paul Robeson School will never vanish from our lives, but will grow for years to come. Keith Jones, problem students. Does that sound like a problem student?
That's amazing. No, I think there's been a different transformation.
Abraham Lincoln could have wrote that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So
yes.
here's the point.
It's amazing.
The point is that if you don't use the right key to the door, you're not going to open the door. But when you open the door, every student has a gift from God. Everybody, every student, every person. And when you use the right key, called love and compassion and dignity and respect, the door opens. So for this student who's been sitting there as labeled as a problem, well, he became a star because I began to realize and show him and relate to him who he was, and he began to see it in himself. It wasn't me doing it; he did it, but I was kind of a support.
kind of facilitated
Yes.
that he should find his inner
Yes.
self and his true being.
Right.
And to go on from there. How early is it imperative to make an impact in someone's life?
Well, you know, people tell me unless you start in elementary school, forget it. I don't believe that. You start where you're at, okay? So I've worked with kids from young people from kindergarten, first grade, seventh, high school, college, and wherever they're at, I start there and we create the miracles of love and openness together. Because I'm working with them. See, a lot of students never been listened to them very much. You know, they're usually being talked to either with their society or their parents or authorities. So when they find an adult that actually listens and shares with them, it creates a whole different paradigm shift. Okay? Want to hear a few more stories?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good. By the way, somebody gave me this recently from the Tribune. It says, shaken by violence, students press for unity. Okay? And it's kind of on the same level of the work we do, even though I've been doing this for many years before. It says, there's a stigma to Englewood, which we know, right? A lot of shootings. Austin, other communities, one of the most violence-stricken neighborhoods in Chicago. It represents a challenge to educators and parents trying to motivate young people and, above all, keeping them safe. While some in the city worry about shootings, they want to see a reason for hope. This young lady who was an 8th grader said, I've lost a lot of people, okay, admitting student council president, 8th grader. She lost a lot of fellow students.
They were shot.
And there's frustration. I'm tired of it. I just want to be able to have an impact and actually do something to create change. Okay? And then one of the students says, peace is earned. We can earn it together with positivity, education, unity, and love. That was the message. So they're doing what, you know, I've been doing for a long time, but it stands out. This needs to be done more and more. Young people is part of our solution. Also in my book, I have a lot of stories, but this one is about, this is students that I work with in kindergarten through 8th grade on problem solving and teamwork, and this is what they wrote at the end of it, you know, when we work with them.
Oh, please.
2nd grader.
Oh, okay.
Today I learned about teamwork, helping others, solving problems and doing work together. That's pretty cool at 2nd grade, right?
Yes, it is.
3rd grader, I learned to work things out. Now, don't we need that in the world more? 4th grader, I learned to share and help people. I learned to listen to the teacher and not to disturb other people. Well, that's always good. I learned that it's easy to solve problems. Okay, that's at 4th grade. 5th grade, what I learned is not to give up and just do it. I learned how to be a teammate and work together. What I learned today was about success. I learned if you look inside yourself, you'll always find something very good. Now, that's pretty powerful, okay? Building your self-esteem. 6th graders, we have a lot to learn. Sometimes I learned was to talk it out with people. And 7th graders, I learned that if you need help from teachers, ask for it, and they'll give it to you. I learned that being positive it can help you get respect. So these are all life skills that we all need as adults, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So if they get them at 2nd grade and 3rd and 5th and on, what a difference it makes.
How do you feel that teachers respond to this new way of teaching?
Well, you know, sometimes it's new for them, but a good teacher always tries to engage young people and let them know they care. There's an old saying, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. But a lot of teachers, you know, are so backed up with stress with the test taking and overcrowded classrooms and mandates that when I come in,
lesson plans and discipline and right.
I can be a fresh breath of air, and I let them know that they're appreciated, the teachers, while I'm doing this. A lot of times I'll involve the teachers. A quick story with that, I was working with a school, and there was a 1st grader. Teacher was on the side. I was there to talk for 45 minutes about relationships. After a few minutes, a little girl raises her hand, African-American girl, says, everybody hates me. That's what she said. Everybody hates me.
Who is everybody?
All the students. Oh. So I said, come up here and sit with me. So I had her sit with me, and I said to the students, I talk to the students like people, not kids, people. So you hear what she just said? Crystal said, everybody hates her. How do you think she feels, you know? So I'm going to ask one student, the teacher's watching me do this, you know, like, okay, good. I'm going to ask one student to come up here and take a risk. I talked about risk taking. Nothing. Nobody came up. Finally, one student raised his hand, first grader. He comes up and says, Crystal, I want to be your friend. Finally, the whole classroom came up and said, Crystal, I want to be your friend. So how do you think? I said, Crystal, how do you feel? She says, I feel good. I said, good. You asked for help, and look what happened. And then I acknowledged the teacher for being in there, helping the kids, so she felt part of this process. But in only 10 minutes, it took for now her to feel like she was part of the group. It didn't take long. So we have to have more in our classrooms, a sense of community, a sense of asking, a sense of young people feeling safe to talk and helping each other. Helping each other is very important.
Should not have that feeling that they are alone.
Exactly.
Alone, isolated.
Exactly.
You know, because they may not have a great sense of family either. You know, a lot of the children that you're dealing with.
Absolutely. You know, I've done a lot of work bringing parents, students, and teachers together, and I did this one in Berwyn, I think, with the superintendent, where there was a lot of problems going on. Nobody was talking with each other. So I worked with about 25 students, elementary students. We did skits, presentation. The kids invited their parents. The teachers were there. And the young people spoke with their heart. We need to have cooperation. We need to have love. All of a sudden, the parents and teachers started to talk. Said, we need more of this. But who led the way? The kids. So it says a child should lead the way, doesn't it somewhere?
Yes, it does.
So our young people are my secret to helping open up the hearts of our adults.
There are staggering numbers of growing violence in communities across America, including the south side of Chicago, which we touched upon.
Yeah.
We don't seem to have an answer to address this. So how do you feel that we can do about this?
Well, you know, I've worked a lot in the inner cities, including Englewood. There's 200 churches in Englewood, believe it or not, you know, a lot of schools. And what I recognize is we need to do a big picture plan, that it's comprehensive, it involves everybody. The teachers, parents, community, business, media, students, etc. Community, where it's all the stakeholders are involved.
Does it also involve law enforcement? Because there's a lot of
definitely law enforcement.
Because there's a lot of fear of law enforcement and retaliation and
yeah. I build bridges. I once had a town meeting in back of the yards where there's a lot of violence, and we had the police officers there, and I said, "Come up here." Had a student come here. I said, "This is officer friendly." Everyone laughed, but he felt like, you know what? I'm not a problem. I want to help. It's called dialogue. I want to do more and more of that. So yeah, so we've done that, and then we definitely involve all the people, including the young people, definitely have to be involved. They're always at the center of what I do. I mentioned I did a town meeting with the Sun-Times years ago. I was on the panel, and we had the students in the background, the 500 adults. Students were talking. I said, "Students, come up here, talk," and they did. And the town meeting in the Sun-Times, it said, "Adults listen to kids," but it wouldn't have happened unless somebody said, "Young people need to talk and not be talked at." So part of this comprehensive process for inner cities is we have to involve all the stakeholders. We have to involve business. We have to start going job creation, incubating business. Economics is a big thing. Poverty is a big thing.
Absolutely. But how can that be changed? A lot of businesses don't want to go into certain areas. They don't feel profitable.
Whole Foods just opened that store down there. That's a start. Okay, it's a start. So, but we want to, you know, there's a lot of vacant lands down there, lots. We're going to use those. You know, they can grow food. We're going to pour some money in there to help incubate businesses. You know, we're going to help fund a lot of these processes. And we're going to make sure businesses help support this also, okay? So it's going to be a team effort, and if we change the paradigm, what happens is people get to see things differently. But it takes sometimes outside sources to help the inside sources. Together, it's a partnership. There is no easy answer. But if we keep, you know, the definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you can expect a different result. That's insanity. We need to do something different.
Right. There has to be change implemented.
Yes, ma'am.
And it has to be the type of change that allows children to grow, to nourish, to flourish, to be independent, and the crime rate to, of course, go down, the fear to go down.
Right. The crime rate is a symptom of other things, the homelessness, the poverty, no jobs, etc. So we have to address the real issues and also change the culture. Corporations talk about culture change. Well, we need a cultural change in our schools and in communities, where the environment is shifted by building relationships of trust, goodwill, having our young people involved in that process also, a comprehensive plan.
That's very interesting that you mentioned culture change. I have not heard that much, but what I have heard is that it's obviously extremely important, but
Absolutely.
one of the hardest things to change.
Right. Well, when you walk into a building, you feel the school, you feel the energy, you feel the culture. If it's good or maybe not so good. So culture is built by building relationships and good programs. Okay.
I know you've co-developed a new education plan that you say is the most comprehensive ever developed for uniting and transforming communities. Can you just enlighten me or enlighten our viewers on how is this plan so unique?
It's unique because it's comprehensive. Number one, it has a lot of components to it. It's tested. I've been working on this for over 30 years. So is my partner in California, Jim Hellahan. So we've tested these models, not just mental. It's also working with the involvement of the young people at the center of the community. It works with the involving young people in the daytime as well as during school and after school, using social media, using entertainment pieces. My partner has developed a large screen IMAX show where he works with Hollywood producers that gets kids excited.
Oh, yes.
Once the kids are excited, an example, Harper High School in Englewood. We worked them several years ago. We did the large screen show. Everyone got excited. Then ABC came out, TV. Then we took 10% of the student population, brought them to Lake Geneva. They'd never been out of Englewood, half of these kids. We did leadership training. They came back and painted half their school in 6 hours. And Home Depot was the sponsor for that. So it shows that if we did this at hundreds of schools, get our young people involved, give them the training, get the community involved, it could begin to change the school in critical mass. Critical mass.
Absolutely. How does one contact you? I just wanted to go into sponsorship. How does someone get involved?
They can email me.
Okay, because I think we're putting our email on the screen right now, so they can email you.
Or they can call me, at the office, 224-456-7889. They can call me directly too, or through email. And I'd be glad to talk to people that want to be involved, okay? Because this is a community effort. We're all connected. South side, north side, doesn't matter. We're all connected.
So it's all connected to go on with that.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, what criteria do you rate success?
Do I rate success?
Right. Like a program that's implemented. How is it rated?
Okay. Number one, you see the light shine in the young people's faces. Number one, when we do a leadership training or a town meeting, see a lot of dialogue. People actually listen to young people. But criteria, you start seeing less crime, more attendance.
Absolutely.
You start seeing more engagement, a new sense of hope. Projects being done, that are helping the community. I have many that we could talk about, where there's real results. And but you can see the community starting to feel better about themselves just by their dialogue, and their input, and their projects, etc. And of course, grades can be impacted too, which it will be. Attendance will be increased, less crime. So there's a lot of different indicators that things are working.
Absolutely. So where do you think this will go in about 1 year?
Well,
I mean, how fast is this change going to take? What has to happen for the next step?
Well, I've been working on my funding process. We can always use more funds, but I'm working on that. Once we finish that process, we're going to be rolling this out in the south side of Chicago and around the nation. Okay. And we're going to be paying a lot of people that are in schools already stipends. We're going to be hiring facilitators. We're going to be working with business leaders to help them match what we're doing funds. We're going to be involving different organizations, school principals organizations, national organizations. So it's a collective effort. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. If an organization has thousands of principals involved, let's get them involved. If a student council organization national has a lot of student council members involved, let's get them involved. We'll work with these organizations and say, hey, this is an inclusive effort that's never been done before, and we're going to have funding to support this, that we're going to change the face of education in communities around America with young people as our champions working with us. It's got to happen.
How does the current administrations of the schools feel about this? Do you find any negativity? Do you find that...
Well, you know, in my work over the years, bureaucratic systems are hard to change.
That's
but
what I was
there's always
getting
good
to.
people in these systems, but sometimes they are overwhelmed by it, so much to do. But if we come in from the outside and bring in the funding and bring in support and a new vision and an action plan...
Because they all look at, you know, this is a number of the amount that I have to work with. And,
right.
And then this is what I have to do, and then, you know, everybody falls into the mundane of this has to be done, and we have to do all, you know, the testing and the coursework and reducing funds. Right.
It's not the way to do it. New paradigm. New paradigm is we're going to bring the whole community together with our kids. We're going to make it exciting, meaningful, and productive, and you're going to see the change because hope breeds success with the right plan. Can I read one thing about the...
Oh, absolutely.
This I found very inspiring. It was it's called Improving Human Relations in Chicago by an 8th grader or 7th grader, and a few things she wrote. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Nowadays, I definitely see the need for better human relations. I used to see one group of close friends separate from another close friends. For instance, I wonder how come in one group the Mexican race is predominantly in another, and the African American race is in another group. To me, it was just that they think that naturally you're supposed to only hang out with people of your race. But religion and nationality, this perception is truly ignorant, she says, the 7th grader. Chicago has issues on human relations. Everyone has an important role in improving human relations in Chicago. I will try my best to make friends based solely on my taste in spite of that certain person's flesh tone, sex, or their state of being. I plan to join clubs so I can promote social integration. Earning the respect of my community is an important step towards this improvement, so I will definitely do some volunteer work. Doing little things such as this can make a huge difference in the future. She says human relations is key, and it is. You look around the world, countries fighting countries, people fighting people, political fighting politicians. We need to start having young people lead the way. We need to have more human relations, people cooperating with one another. Very important.
Unity.
And she's only a 7th grader.
Well, she gets it.
She does.
She does get it. I wish we would all get it, but how do you feel that the political environment, like Chicago, I mean, do you get a lot of support?
Well, I've been meeting with different folks. I've worked with some of the aldermen down there in Englewood. I've worked with Father Flager's youth development person, who is certainly a champion down there. I've worked with different state senators, mayors. I had 200 mayors in a room once, Illinois Mayors Association, 200 mayors with about 40 young people from the inner city, from the northwest suburbs, big diversity. Had the young people get on stage, and I said, "Are kids pretty smart?" They said, "Yes." I said, do you think adults know how smart you are? They went, "No." So an 11-year-old takes the mic and says, "Just because I can't vote doesn't mean I can't think." That did it. A mayor gets on the mic and says, "These kids are making us look pretty silly. These kids are making us look pretty silly. We better get real." So the young people made the mayors get real, and we had real dialogue for a change, real dialogue.
Well, I guess it impacted them, and they had a different viewpoint.
It does. It does. It does.
If they take it home.
From the heart, from the mouth of babes, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
So your change is coming apart, you know, is coming to, you know, taking fruition and doing all of that. Yes.
Yes. Well, you know, it's an effort that takes time. It's been a long time in the coming. Things need to incubate. You have to have faith and endure. You know, and because of my friends, family, support systems, and my belief in our young people who've helped me get this far, because I listened to them, I feel that there's a really wonderful opportunity now for real healing in our communities and real change.
What part do you think social media, I know we don't have a lot of time left, plays in this?
A big part. Everybody's always on their iPhone. Social media, Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to create some social media technologies that will be kind of comparable, I wouldn't say comparable to maybe Facebook, but not Facebook. And using these digital magazines, my Kids America TV show. We're going to use all different components of social media and media to let kids be seen and heard and get them involved in making a difference in their communities.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for appearing on my program, Gary Goldman. Continued success and good work for Kids America, and you know, if you are interested, please feel free to contribute. And, you know, I'm sure you can use all
kinds of support.